Going on, Chuck?
Dude, nothing much. I'm really surprised we've made it 3 podcasts.
Hey man, we're surviving. We're fighting. We're truth seekers. They can't
We
get rid of us.
are getting down to the bottom of things. We really are.
We absolutely are. And we're getting close to being able to go investigate Italygate ourselves.
Yes, we're mounting the funds. We've actually been contacted by Donald Trump's former cabinet that they want us to go in and...
Yeah, we can't release exactly who, but look, people, they want it.
They want it.
And we're cool with it. Like, we're down. We're down for a cause.
Yeah, we're here to support hardworking Americans.
For the record, the cause is finding the truth. We don't take sides.
That's true. Yeah.
Just for the record.
That's their downfall. Because we're gonna like discover a holy grail of like Trump skeletons, and we're just gonna put them in the ground.
No.
And they're probably so hopeful that we're gonna like spin it to like work out in their favor, but no, we're gonna put them in the ground.
Well, here's the thing, man. We're just gonna give them another freaking tax write-off. We're just growing the cemetery at Mar-a-Lago. We'll have Trump's ex-wife, Italygate. She's in the ground together.
Holy Grails.
It'll be good. Dude, have we found the Holy Grail, though? Like, the actual Holy Grail?
Dude, I don't know. There's myths and tales and all that jibber jabber surrounding that type of stuff, but
I think if I found the Holy Grail, I'd try to put it in a museum.
I remember when I was really young, I saw like a Shroud of Turin like documentary on the History Channel, where they're like, we think we found the shroud that covered Jesus in his death. And I was like, this is some bullshit,
A
dude.
piece of cloth that decays within 2,000 years.
Literally, dude.
And that's why I was like, this is some bullshit.
Yeah.
Even my little head could wrap it around the fact that that was complete horseshit.
Well, I'm glad. Dude, the History Channel's got some stuff, though.
Aliens, dude.
Dude, they drop some interesting programming.
They may be the real truth seekers.
No, actually, I think it's the opposite.
Yeah.
They're the definition of here's my truth.
Yeah.
Sadly, it do be like that on the History Channel. Like, they're just dropping, like, what could the Egyptians done? How'd it get here? Aliens.
But they're hyper entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you need to kill like 30 minutes, and you have cable, dude, History Channel does not fail you. It's always entertaining.
No.
Because you also have, like, American Pickers on History Channel. That's the shit right there.
It's so good.
Pawn Stars.
It shouldn't be good. Neither of those shows should be good.
No.
They're incredible.
And
Amazing.
the thing is, though, like, every time I watched American Pickers, I was like, oh, these are just some normal guys. Like, this is their hobby. But when I watch Pawn Stars, I'm like, what are these guys' end game?
Yeah.
Like, these guys seem like the grimiest dudes on earth. Just all about profit. Like, even the old dad, like, that motherfucker, I don't know if he's dead or not, so I don't want to besmirch his name, but...
No, man, we'll say some of the things that we've seen on that show, it's a little slimy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can't look away.
Oh, no.
So it can't be that bad.
Because the stuff that gets brought into their pawn shop in Vegas is, like, cool shit.
Yeah. And I love every single time. He's like, I don't know about this. You know, I think I know a lot, but I got a buddy. I'm going to call my buddy in. And they just always have him on standby, just ready to go. Dude, if I went to a pawn shop and someone's like, I need to call someone, okay, they'll be here in 6 hours. I'd be like, what's the best you can do right now? I got shit to do, man.
Right?
And the thing is, too, like, sometimes they'll call their buddy in, and he'll be, like, just a dream ruiner. Just like, yep, this is, like, $200. Like, that's the best we can do for it. But sometimes they call their so-called experts in, and they're like, oh, my God, this is actually worth thousands of dollars. And then the fucking Rick guy from Pawn Stars is like, we're fucked.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't make money off this if I buy it for what you want.
Dude, that's always some bullshit. I'm like, I don't care if you make money off it. It's worth this. Pay me.
That's the beauty of capitalism.
Yep. Dude, there's some stuff on there. I've seen people go in there and they're like, yeah, I was hoping to get like $100 for this or something. It's some like old toy or something like that. It's like 100 years old. It's like an antique, and they're like, it's gotta be worth something, right? And they're like, they won't even call them the expert. They'll be like, I'll give you $5. And they just stare the guy down. Like, I'll give you $5. This guy's like, oh fuck.
Oh my god. I feel like another show in that type of genre is Antiques Roadshow.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I've made fun of my parents for watching that a ton of times, but like secretly I love that show, dude. It's like Bob Ross but for history.
It is. Dude, Bob Ross gets to you sometimes. Like everyone can like hate on Bob Ross, but you put it on, especially if you got like 2 or 3 buddies with you and you guys are just watching Bob Ross and you're like, why are we so drawn in? But you're drawn in. He gets you.
He's so good.
He's so good.
The best is like he'll make these quick sudden movements with his paintbrush and you're like, that's a fucking mountain now. How did he get there? How did we make it to this point?
He makes just a few more little quick jabs and you're like, oh my goodness, we have full scenery.
He has this
is
like
the best.
super fine kind of elongated brush that he does trees with,
Yeah.
and I always love it, dude.
You're in
it's,
for it.
It's the best.
Dude, I bought my brother for Christmas like 2 or 3 years ago a Bob Ross tie-dye t-shirt. It's just a tie-dye t-shirt has Bob Ross's face on it. And I wasn't sure how he was going to take it. If he was going to be like, yes, or if he was going to be like, oh, thank you, and then never wear it.
Yeah.
Dude, he wears it all the time.
That's
I loved
awesome.
it. I was pumped. I was like,
That's a hit, dude.
score.
That's a fucking hit.
I'm definitely the family member who buys the most gifts that then just end up in a corner. So I'm like, I think they'll like this, and they don't. They just never use it. And so whenever I get a hit, dude, it's a hit. It's big.
So, to cue the listener in, Clay and I here are avid amateur wrestling fans,
Huge.
and this past weekend, the one of the biggest events that happens, the second biggest event besides the Olympics, the World Championships,
Huge.
just happened in Belgrade, Serbia,
Wow.
and it was like it delivered straight up.
It absolutely did. And here's the best part, everyone. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, USA kicked ass. We just won a world title as a team. So it's huge.
Which is like our 4th ever.
I think so, yeah. We've been on a tear recently. These last about... We really did 4 years. So about the last 4 years, we've hit a streak of dominance that we haven't had before. Not sustained like this.
Yeah.
Like, we've had...
It usually goes in cycles.
It does. And the thing was, I've been hearing people talk about this too, just after the World Championships, talking about how, for a long time, especially like from 2000 to 2012, right? So that's 4 Olympic Games. It was kind of like, we might have a guy, we might have one dude, maybe 2, who are like actual contenders at any weight class. And what's crazy right now is USA at every single weight class feels like they can win gold any given year.
Yeah.
And a lot of them went our way this year.
And the way I look at it, especially with the cycle talk, is like, so you get those guys who are like, okay, we may not win it this year, but we're going to get this guy a medal, whether that's bronze to gold. He's going to medal. He's a favorite.
Yep.
And there's not a sustainability and like team strength.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that we have such a strong team, when these guys retire, we're going to have studs from youth, U23, all that come up, fill their spots. And because they have to compete at such a prime time of American wrestling, it's sharpening them now and getting them ready for when they do take over that eventual starting spot.
Absolutely. And I kind of have an idea. So what I think is going to end up happening, right? We've had basically the same group. Talk about what? We have 8 international weight classes right now for Worlds. And then...
I think it's like 6 or 5 for
it's 6
Olympics.
for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So 6 for the Olympics, 8 for Worlds, and then because you add in 61 and 90. Well, I guess you also had 79. Maybe we're up to 10. Yeah, and 70. So we have 10 for Worlds, and then we have 6 for the Olympics. Should have done the math beforehand. Who cares? And
we're talking in kilograms here, so we're
yeah.
out of our fucking wheelhouse here.
They really need to get on the imperial system. We just need to invade United World Wrestling, UWW, and just change the measurements just a little bit.
It'd be amazing.
It would be.
That would help me out.
It would help all of us out. I know which guys fit at which weights. I don't know what the actual weight is.
Because here's the thing, in high school wrestling, you're like, I'm 5 pounds off. But them having to make weight for kilograms, they were like, I'm 0.8 kilograms away.
What does that mean?
What does this mean?
It's a great time. It's super, super good for meatheads like wrestlers.
Yeah.
What I envision though, because for as great as our senior men's team has been now, basically since 2017, because 2016 Olympics, we went in with a head full of steam. We were like, Jordan Burroughs is going to win gold. Jaden Cox could medal. Tervel could medal. Tony Ramos was on that team, I'm pretty sure. And Dan Dennis was on that team.
Yeah.
Dan Dennis went to the Olympics. We were like, Dan Dennis, who knows? Could just beat T-Ram. We had so many guys on the team. We were like, they could all medal. We ended up with Jaden got bronze. We thought Metcalf was on that team.
Oh, dude, yeah.
No, he wasn't. I'm wrong. Molinaro was on the team.
Yeah.
Because those trials were nuts. Because Pico and Molinaro ended up as the trials finals.
Yeah.
And Molinaro beat Pico.
Because Pico, yeah.
That was freaking nuts. And we were like, we have all these guys who can medal. And it was like, what, just Jaden Cox. And then I think Tervel ended up getting bronze, but he actually took 5th. And someone got kicked out for steroids. So then he got a bronze afterwards. Like, we just so underperformed at that Olympics. But it was like the next year. I think that year too they did a World Championships also, and that was when Logan Stever won his Worlds. And really from that point onwards, this team is on fire.
Yeah.
Team World Championships. Kyle Dake has won 4 World Championships. Just out of basically, it might look like nowhere to some people, but if you knew Kyle Dake, you knew it was coming. It was just a matter of time. But Dake's getting older though, so
yes,
Dake's on a tear. David Taylor might be the best pound-for-pound wrestler in the world right now. At least in terms of how he wrestles, especially. Still getting up there in age, though. He's already contemplated retirement before. JB is definitely old. I mean, this man just won his 7th world title, which is insane. But
history.
He's getting up there.
This is historic shit.
Honestly, though, I think the GOAT talk got to get delayed. Because I still think Taylor and Dake could both pass him. And Snyder.
Dude, Snyder has the best shot.
Snyder has the best shot.
Taylor and Dake, they have a possibility, but Snyder's
young.
He's 25.
I know. He's got 15 years left in him.
It's insane.
It's nuts, and he's gonna set every record there is.
Yeah.
Snyder's gonna be the GOAT, I think. That's just bias, but where I think because we've had this group of guys carrying this team for so long now, you look down at U23s, you look at the high schoolers, you look at what's coming, you look at the guys just down the ladder on the national team. What I think's coming is what we used to see at 57, 61, 65, where every year it was the same 2 or 3 guys competing for the spot, and they were trading every year. So you get the same 4 guys in the semis, 2 of those guys make the finals, and where wrestler A makes the team 1 year, he's not gonna make it the next year. Even Gilman is a world champion. He's an Olympic bronze medalist, and 2 years ago, 3 years ago, he wasn't on the world team. He had lost to Dayton Fix.
Which is a guy that's coming up.
Coming up strong and fast. Dayton Fix is incredible. And what I think that's going to be the future. We're going to continue to be the best team in the world. We are going to continue to win worlds. Even if Russia comes back into it, we are going to win worlds. We're going to beat Russia. We're going to beat Iran. We're going to beat Uzbekistan. We're going to beat everybody. But who's beating them is going to change. And every year it's going to be a new group of guys, 5 in, 5 out, every single year. But they're all going to be competing for a gold medal.
And we have a resurgence in Greco too.
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope.
I feel like there's some strong fan favorites like Hancock and Amos and Colton Schultz, who sadly lost first round.
Yeah.
And with the rep charge in World Championship Wrestling, if you lose your first round and the guy that you lose to doesn't win or doesn't make the finals, then you don't get pulled back into the bracket, so to speak. So
it's not double elimination. So it's confusing. When you first start following it, you're like, what the fuck is going on? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you're like,
But you catch up.
isn't this double?
You're like, shouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Like, guys can go to the World Championship as the #1 seed and only wrestle one match.
Insane.
It sucks. Like, it's a bad product. Like,
Yeah, it is kind of traditionalist too.
yep. In terms of growing the sport, which wrestling has talked about for 20 years now, and tried to take it seriously, why are we doing repechage at World Championships and the Olympics? Double elimination.
and at least like if you want to kind of progress the sport a little bit forward and not like totally get rid of repechage, I think at the very least make World Championships double, and then Olympics repechage. See how that goes,
Okay.
and then move forward with that.
Yeah, test it out at a World Championship, see
Yeah.
how it goes. Because you know what? Maybe there is something to a guy losing the first round, battling all the way back. It's too hard on him. I mean, these are the best wrestlers in the world. It's got to be the most intense, just physical exhaustion any wrestler's ever going to reach. It's got to be freaking hard.
Making weight like
Yeah.
all 3 days.
That's
is
true.
Insane.
It's hard. I mean, I get why that would be hard. Also, you might have people who are like, I can't win gold, I don't care. And then they forfeit out, and now we have forfeits on the backside at World Championships and Olympics, which people will be upset about. But honestly, that's kind of part of the sport. Like, it happens at NCAAs, it happens at
Mhm.
trials, it happens at the U.S. Open. People are like, cool, I can't get what I wanted, I'm just out.
But then again, there's something about Worlds where it's like, even if you're representing like a country that doesn't really make it to Worlds that much, and you're just there, there's so much pride that comes with that,
Absolutely.
that it's like, even if you don't have a shot, like just making it there is such an accomplishment.
It is. I mean, think about a team like Japan and Cuba. So they're both very historically great countries at wrestling. But right now, it's kind of like Japan has like 2 guys that have a chance at medaling. Cuba has like nobody
Yeah.
with a real chance at medaling freestyle. And those guys, I can see if they had the chance to get bronze, they're all in. That'd be huge for them, for their country, just be able to get the spotlight back on wrestling in a positive way for
Yeah.
those countries. Because 10 years ago, Cuba whooped America's ass.
Dude, they were animals.
And now we're throwing Iran around like it's nothing. Freaking David Taylor, 4-1 against Yazdani.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yazdani's nickname is literally the Great One. Like, that's what they call him in Iran. They worship that guy.
Holy crap.
And David Taylor's like, not having it. Take
Which-
him out.
Iran sees wrestling like the U.S. kind of sees like football in a way.
It definitely is. Like,
Yeah.
those guys are rock stars. Completely. Dude, speaking of football, Brett Favre.
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre. We'll come back to wrestling here in like 10 seconds. I just want to say,
Okay.
dude, fuck Brett Favre.
Why?
Dude, okay.
I considered naming my first dog Brett Favre.
Oh my goodness. So if you're someone out there who loves Brett Favre as a football player, you saw him play as a kid, you saw him, honestly, there's a lot of respect here for the fact that he came back with Minnesota. So his first year in Minnesota was super successful, right? But coming back, that dude was old, he was beaten up, and he fought. He played as well as he could.
Sadly, he had to deal with the Bounty Gate against the Saints, which is a doozy.
They messed him up.
Yeah, they fucked him up, dude. And he's already old, like you said.
Yep. And so, the dude's a fighter, okay? I get it. On the field, super impressive to watch. A lot of fun to watch.
Another fun video, real quick, is he goes to John Gruden's, which is funny in hindsight.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming you're about to lay out how Brett Favre's a shitbag.
Yeah,
And we all know how John Gruden is already a shitbag. So it's funny in hindsight. But they're 2 football guys. And they John Gruden used to run this like combine kind of like interview thing.
Yep.
And Brett Favre goes on it, and it's like highlight tape material.
Wait,
It's amazing
was-
stuff.
Was that the episode that had Spider 2Y Banana?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is.
That thing was incredible. That's still a living
John
thing
Gruden's
out
like,
there.
you know, I love Spider 2Y Banana. I see you doing it here.
Fucking John Gruden.
I know.
Again, Gruden. I love him as a coach. I love him as a sports personality. I don't think we see eye to eye on the world.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would get a beer with John Gruden probably.
I would too.
I'd probably get a beer with Brett Favre. But if he
I would
started-
absolutely get a beer with Brett Favre.
If he started bringing up business ideas, I'm running for the hills.
Okay.
Because this man literally gets in contact with the governor of Mississippi and works out a deal to get like $5 million of welfare money. I might have that number wrong, but I think it's like $5 million. Got a ton of money out of the welfare system for the state of Mississippi, which is the poorest state in the United States. So he took a bunch of money from the poorest people in the country and goes and builds a volleyball arena at Southern Miss.
What?
And there are texts where he literally says, if you give me this money, is there any way the media could find out?
What?
And he knew it was wrong. He can't even pull the, well, you know, they said it was fine, I believed them, I trusted them. He can't even use that now because he literally was already sending texts saying, like, basically, I know this is wrong, but can we get away with it?
What a fucking dirtbag.
Right? Not to
That's
mention,
awful.
Not to mention the fact that he is the worst sexter of all time.
Oh, he sucks?
With the New York
Well, I kind of
Jets
assume
misses.
he sucks, but...
Yeah, the text messages that he was sending to the New York Jets masseuse when he was there, the man has no game. No game. Like, maybe if he was funny, he actually had a chance in there, but he basically was like, I'm Brett Favre. Look at me.
God damn it.
And so on the field, legend.
Yeah.
Legend. Off the field, scumbag.
Oh, okay.
Just absolute scumbag.
I see what you're putting down here.
Yep. Okay.
That's pretty bad. But anyways, go on.
I pulled us off wrestling.
Yeah, no,
We need to
it
go
is.
back to wrestling.
I really enjoyed hearing about Brett Favre and how much of a shitty person he is.
Dude, we get more details. We'll share them. But that's all I got for now on Brett Favre. Number 4.
Nice.
But for wrestling, though, Iran fucking loves their wrestlers.
Yes.
And honestly, I love watching it. I know, like, this goes against all of my political beliefs, like it flat out does, but I love watching Iran wrestle. They are so much fun to watch wrestle. They're fucking fast. They're strong. They anchor the center. They dig in those underhooks. They do everything so efficiently. It's everything that I would coach a wrestler to do.
Oh, shit.
Is the Iran freestyle.
So okay, wait, their bread and butter is digging the underhooks, just nitty gritty wrestling.
Nitty gritty. Like, it's not a headbutt, but you use your head to get the positioning. You move your guy out of the way. You're just pulling on them the whole time, making them carry your weight. You just anchor in the center. So you just put your butt towards the center the whole time. You don't leave that middle circle, and you make the other guy come to you.
See, essentially, they're like the Iowa style of
Yes.
international wrestling.
100%.
Oh, damn.
And they're incredible at it. All of them.
And the thing, too, is all of the wrestlers are so respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Iowa
Yeah,
style.
there's never a problem at
Right.
a tournament or anything for any of their guys.
And with Iowa style, it's like you see those Iowa duels. There is some fucking fuckery that happens.
Yeah.
But those Iranian like wrestlers are super like awesome, just like respectable people.
And on top of that, after Yazdani won, I believe it was after his last Worlds that he won against Taylor. So it's the one win he has on him. Taylor wins the Olympics.
Dude, I remember that. It was literally like a few months later.
Yep. And so Taylor wins the Olympics. 2 months later, they go to Worlds. They wrestle again. Taylor is beat up, super injured. He was literally weighing, like, do I just retire after the Olympics? Like, been doing this for long enough already. Decides to wrestle again. Loses to Yazdani. In Iran, when he gets back, and I don't remember what city they were in or anything, but they were giving him, like, a parade. And the crowd was, like, it was huge, first of all. It was bigger than, like, any other sports rally would have been. Bigger than, like, a political rally. Oh, I had a hiccup there. It was, like, the entire town came out to see Yazdani.
Damn.
And he's, like, cruising through in, like, a convertible, and then he gets out of the car and goes out, and he's taking pictures, signing autographs, giving people hugs. Just, like, everyone loved him, and he was just sharing all that love with them.
That's fucking awesome.
Like, that's a dude you like. You're
Yeah.
like, okay, fuck yeah. Like, it's unfortunate that you compete for Iran.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wish it was almost any other country, but you know what? He seems like a pretty great guy. I don't know. Maybe he's a sleazeball, but I don't think so. I don't think it matches.
It just seems like he represents his country super well.
He does. I think so.
Which
I
is
don't
like-
think he's Donnie Wrestle.
Because the thing with Iran is like one of the big storylines. I think it was 2018 Worlds. There was some like political drama between the U.S. and Iran, and all those Iranian fans literally lost their minds when Jordan Burroughs wrestled,
Yeah.
and when James Green wrestled too.
They love him.
And they fucking loved him, and it was like it's such a beautiful moment because it's like it transcends
Yes.
like the politics.
Yeah.
Like it's like those Iranian fans love them some wrestling,
They do.
and it's like above the political. It's like if you're gonna wrestle for a country, it's Russia, it's the U.S. or it's Iran, because the Iranian fans are just fucking awesome.
They are awesome. And all the wrestlers who have competed there have talked about it too. Jordan Burroughs talks about loving the Iranian. It's his favorite country outside of the U.S. to compete in. Like, he loves going to Iran for a tournament. And just those fans, if you are a gutsy wrestler and you're physical, you get into that Iowa style,
Yeah.
dude, they love you. And dude, when the U.S. comes in there and we're just banging away and we're bashing people
Yeah.
in, they're like, yeah! They just get pumped for it. And I love it. And you're right, it transcends all the politics.
It does. It really does, because it's like, man, it's crazy because wrestling, we don't get many people in the stands, but then when you get Iranians in the stands with drums that they're banging on, just like going crazy, you're like, dude, this is beautiful.
It is beautiful. Oh, it's great. And a lot of people, the thing is too, in terms of growing the sport, right? It's all hidden away behind paywalls and like really hard to watch, especially when we're on the other side of the world.
And then streams crash and all that shit.
And yeah, we're not adding anyone in particular there. Wink, wink. You know who you are if your stream crashes every single time for 10 years now.
Every time.
Every time. Garbage company. I'll say it.
Yep.
Garbage. I won't put their name in here, but they're garbage. You know who
We
you are.
we hate them almost as much as Adam Schefter.
Almost.
Almost.
There's an individual at that place that I hate more than Schefter.
I get it.
Who I would not house. I
He's
would
a fucking wet blanket, like
a wet
no
blanket.
personality, dude.
Dude, he's not credible. It's
No.
proven in court documents.
He just
It
has-
says not credible.
He actually is Adam Schefter of wrestling because
Yeah.
he just has a bunch of insider information.
That he
Yes.
should not have.
No, he should not.
Yeah, and he's garbage, man.
Yeah.
Dude, he assaulted someone on live video and then deleted the footage.
What?
Yeah. It came out in that court trial.
No.
Yeah. If you're a hardcore listener, you can DM us. We'll tell you about it. Or you can go to Stalemates. Check them out. Check out some footage. You'll figure it out.
Stalemates is the truth. for
Stalemates
sure.
is the truth. They're sponsored by Barbarian Apparel. We're not, but we could be.
If we get Rudis sponsorship, that'd be great.
Oh my goodness,
That'd be
game
amazing.
over. Oh man, I'm selling my soul to Rudis. What do they need me to say? I don't know. They got to work on their sock game. If their socks
Yeah,
were better,
that's
I
fair.
would sell my soul
That's
to
fair.
them. But they're not that great yet. They're
Yeah.
working their way up. They're getting there.
So let's dive into some highlights, because we're not gonna cover all worlds,
No.
but there were some things that stuck out.
Yep.
So I'll start. Yanni Diakamahala.
The curse is broken.
He breaks curse. 65 kilograms, is it?
Yes.
He breaks the metal drought since Bill Zadek back in like 2004.
Yes.
And then a little bit of callback here. He makes it to the finals. No one scores on him,
Yep.
and he just runs through everyone. And then he meets this 20-year-old Iranian like prodigy wrestler that takes him out,
Yep.
and it is like,
Kid's a stud.
dude's insane.
Yep.
So we love that he made it. We're not too happy with the result, but the fact that like he's getting better every tournament that he goes
He
to.
really is. And he's getting better every match. He's one of those gamers. You know, the more he takes in, the better he is.
Yeah.
And he's so young. Was he 23?
Yeah.
Like, he's got the whole world in front of him. He's going to be amazing.
He's got a chance to win a 4th NCAA title.
Yep.
Which is gonna put him in the record books already.
More people have walked on the moon than won 4 NCAA wrestling titles.
It's insane.
It's nuts. And we've been wrestling since, at the collegiate level, since like the 1900s. Like literally like 1900.
Longer than we've been walking on the moon.
Bingo. A lot longer. Another big one was Zane Rutherford. So
Oh yeah.
Zane is gonna be Yanni's primary rival, I think, for the 2024 Olympic spot at 65. So Zane wrestled at 70 kilos, ended up getting another silver medal for the U.S., his first world medal. Zane looks really good at 70 kilos, like body-wise, because I know he's been cutting a lot of weight to make 65. So it definitely kind of raises an eyebrow. Can he make 65? But it's 2022 right now. I think next year he goes. This is what I would do if I was just team and like advising him. You go 70 for the 2023 World Championships. Get yourself another medal. Like as long as he can medal there, then he gets to bypass a bunch of people at the 2024 Olympic trials and maybe compete once before the 2024 trials, maybe just the U.S. Open at 65. But you want to keep him as big as possible for as long as possible, and then gradually come down to 65 if the weight is an issue.
And the thing is, too, there's so much science now behind, like, weight cutting that if he makes that gradual cut where he stays as big as he can for as long as possible, and then his nutritionist or whatever fill him in on, hey, this is when you need to start to make the cut. Dude could, like, perform really fucking well. And then he has Yanni, obviously, which will be an awesome match.
And the thing is, so Zane is not Yanni's primary rival for 2024 just because he just won a world medal at 70 kilos. It's because for the last 6 years, these have been the guys.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like, it's been them and James Green. Well, James Green's retired now. He's coaching.
Yeah.
It's these two. It's down to these two at this point. Unless someone else comes on straight from college and they just blow it up here in the next few years, which I guess Sammy Sasso could be that guy.
Dude,
it's tough.
Because those scramblers, like, Sammy Sasso's a scrambler, and you either do really well in international wrestling or you suck. Because another scrambler who was, like, on fire in college, Ben Askren, his style just didn't translate because it's like he makes so many rolls, so many unintended movements that a lot of these international guys could take advantage of, so to speak.
And Askren says it too, like where his freestyle wrestling was in 2008 when he makes the Olympic team, compared to his knowledge that he has now, and a lot of these other guys have now, to be a scrambler that can translate. Like Jason Nolf has translated really well from folk style to freestyle. He just happens behind Kyle Dake.
Yes.
Arguably.
But Nolf's getting better, dude.
Nolf is good.
Nolf is straight up getting better.
Gap.
Yeah.
Like he has a chance there. I think Imar's pretty much out of the picture now.
Yeah.
He's a little bit older.
And plus Imar's coaching now.
Yep.
And like John Smith.
He's got some kids.
John Smith talks about it like the hardest year he had was when he was assistant coaching at Oklahoma State while also international wrestling.
Yep.
You can't put your eggs in two baskets, so to speak, because giving your all to like collegiate athletes to get them ready for NCAAs, it takes so much thought other than just like how to run a practice.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's tough if you're going to do the international thing in coaching.
Absolutely. And because you also think about it, a lot of those guys for 15 years, if you wanted to be paid to be a full-time international wrestler, you had to also be a collegiate coach or a club coach. Like, you had to be coaching and competing at the same time. Now that we don't have that problem, and these guys are paid to just compete,
yes,
that's a huge reason why we're having more success. And it's awesome.
Now, here's the thing I want to make a point of. Sammy Sasso, obviously, was brought into the conversation, but the one big thing is he has going against him.
Is
his hair?
His hair. I love his hair. Yeah. But he doesn't wrestle at Nittany Lion Wrestling Club.
That's true.
And B, maybe it's not only that he doesn't just wrestle at Nittany Lion Wrestling Club, but he also wrestles for Tom Ryan, who's a notorious, terrible, he doesn't progress his athletes.
Yeah, he's not a developer.
We've
talked about him before.
He's not a developer.
He might be one of the greatest motivators of all time, And from what people have said, and even from what he's said, like you go listen to like him talking to someone, like you're, dude, I could run through a wall right now. Like, Tom Ryan gets me jacked up. I love listening to him talk. I love his interviews. But I think you're absolutely right. I think it's also been part of the reason OSU wrestling has gone down in the last couple of years since losing Lou Rosselli. Like that's too big of a hole to fill with only Jay Jaggers, because Jaggers is clearly very, very good at developing middleweights and lightweights, but the overall, he can't give enough attention to everybody.
No.
Can't do it. There's not enough hours in the day.
And then you lose Tervel Delagna too.
That's the big one. Yep. Because we don't know if Bo Jordan can develop talent as a big weight guy.
Which, like, it's not only that Delagna is able to develop heavier athletes, you know, those upper weights, but also it seems like a lot of people when they talk about Tervel, it seems like his care along with his technique were matched. Like, he cared about his athletes so much and, like, made a connection there, along with his technique already being fucking elite. And it's like, you lose Lou, you lose Tervel, that's tough. And you already got a coach who is more motivational. And it's like, those are big holes to fill.
They also lost Ross Thatcher, who now runs the Ohio Goats.
Wait, okay, are we talking senior or Ross Thatcher?
Ross Thatcher, I'm pretty sure I got that name right. He was, before Tervel got there, Thatcher was the big weight.
Oh my god, I was thinking of Quentin Thatcher.
Oh!
Free shout out, by the way. Free shout out.
Dude kicked my ass in a tournament once.
I was like, I thought you were making a joke that he went to Ohio State or something like that, because I don't fucking know about what Quentin Thatcher did after fucking high school.
Oh, I have no idea either. I do know that dude absolutely kicked my ass at the Super 32 qualifier. It was like 45 seconds.
Dude was a stud, dude.
I think, dude, if I remember right, this is a total tangent, but this would have been our senior year sectionals at UA, and like their whole team. Like I don't really want to, like, we already dropped his name, but I don't want to drop like their whole high school name and everything.
Yeah.
But like that group of guys, like I know I looked at them, I was like, you're all better than us. Like, I'm not even lying. Like you guys are really good wrestlers, and like half that team that I thought were state qualifier contenders didn't make it out of that sectional.
Damn.
It was crazy. It was just like a whole, like...
Because we had the maroon and gold team there.
Actually?
And they came
No, it was
party.
our junior year.
Okay.
Because the man-child was still there.
Yeah, he was! Oh my god!
Because he got like 5th, I think Thatcher got 5th, someone else got 5th. Like, that, all their studs got just knocked out in the go-to match.
Which man-child, I want to know more about, like, his wrestling career, so to speak, because I remember him manhandling everyone who was physically lesser than him.
Because he was wrestling 126 with biceps bigger than my head at 152.
But then you have a district like placer wrestle him, and
a little bit of technique went a long way.
Dude folded.
Dude, so my dad used to talk about this. So my dad wrestled in Columbus City Schools back in the 80s, and he was a lanky guy. He wasn't very strong. He was wrestling, like, at the time, I think it was 118, maybe? It was, like, slightly off for, like, numbers. And he would wrestle a lot of guys that were just, like, jacked. Like, they're just shredded with muscle. And it's like, they were football players. They were, like, running backs and cornerbacks that were cutting weight for wrestling. And, which actually is what my dad was originally, and they switched over to golf. What a loser, right? But
sadly, real quick comment.
Yeah.
So many times you can't just go to your friends and be like, "Hey, you want to wrestle?" But you can always go to your friends and say, "Hey, I want to play a hole of golf."
You know, that's fair.
A round of golf.
That's fair.
So I guess that's a real world skill right there.
Unless you're friends with wrestlers.
Yeah.
All you do is wrestle.
Which then you say, "Let's go to a jiu-jitsu gym and fucking roll around and not care."
It's a great time. It's a great time. And but what he would always say is, like, you can't out-muscle those guys. They're too strong. But the amount of oxygen it takes to be that muscular, you just got to tire them out. And you would see that. Like, it never came into factor until you're wrestling top 8 district talent.
Yes.
And then those guys know how to do it. They know how to move you. And this, we're going way back to when I was talking about how I ran wrestles. You put your butt in the middle of the mat. You make them come to you. You spin them around. You're taking little half steps, and that dude is taking 4 or 5 lunges because you are swinging him around. You're letting him shoot. You're shutting him down, going behind, and you make that guy tiring himself out. Yep, muscle doesn't get you that far.
Once you're literally in the third period, it's like, oh shit. And the other thing too is with wrestling, body language goes a long way. And it's like you're down 3 points, 4 points maybe, but you look across the mat and you see the guys huffing and puffing, and you're able to push the pace for the next 2 minutes and pull out like a 5-point victory.
Dude, there have been some incredible moments that I've witnessed before where you can see one kid being just exhausted. I'm going to talk about a match, Charlie, that you wrestled in. And we were out of school, middle of nowhere, Ohio, and you had the flu. You threw up on the bus.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
a whole thing. I mean, they talk about Jordan's flu again. We're going to talk about some basketball and sports conspiracies in a minute. Jordan did not have the flu. When you had the flu, you cannot go out there and play 50 minutes of basketball.
Yeah.
Okay? You were literally the walking dead. Like, at this thing. This man had the flu. Okay? And he cut, how much weight did you cut in like 24 hours?
So
I
I got
sick as a dog. You looked so pale.
I won't name any names, but there were some
There was a longtime friend of the podcast.
some figures. There were some figures in my life that
So, okay, going into that season, I was like, I'm going to go 126. And there were some certain figures in my life that, yes, that pressured my ass. And I folded like a chair for sure. But they pressured my ass into going 120. And I remember that conversation.
Make that mistake again.
tears were just streaming down my eyes. Like, all right, I'll go 120. And I was
That's
like,
how it be.
fuck, I gotta cut the weight now.
So I cut from, it was 132 to 120, but I had a week and a half to make it. So I got down to 124 the day before the meet.
Yep.
And that day cut 4 fucking pounds because we had a snow day, and LA Fitness up in Delaware had day memberships, and they had a sauna.
Yep.
So me and a buddy from the wrestling team, name starts with T.
He'll be on later.
I'll be on later.
He doesn't know yet.
He doesn't know. But he goes with me up to LA Fitness, and he's like my fucking battle buddy. And I cut to 0.3 literally when I got to the gym before we went on the bus, and just ran a ton. Like, I ran laps back and forth.
Yep.
And then started spitting in a bottle on the bus all the way to the meet. And then I have to give a shout out to the team because it's like dead of winter.
Dude, it was like 10 degrees
So
outside.
cold.
We didn't have school, not because of snow, but because the wind chill was so low, it would have been illegal for kids to stand at the bus stop.
And what my teammates did for me was I was dying in the middle seats of the
He's
bus.
mildly dry heaving.
And everybody is like, all right, Charlie's dying. We got to get him to wrestle. Let's put the windows down
Cool
so we can
off.
get some air. But it's cold as shit.
And we're all bundled up. People are like, normally, like, seniors all got like their own seat, and then like some of the other guys who were good, you get your own seat, and you shove the freshmen in together. Everyone was like 3 people to a little bus seat. Like, dude, we're freezing, stick together. We're like penguins.
Yeah.
out here.
So thank you so much for that. But yeah, we made it there, weighed in, and then match happens.
Match happened. I'm off to the side. I'm warming up. Right. The dual meet was really, really close. They were a really good team, and they had previously been, maybe like 8 years before us, like the team in the district. They were sending 6 to 8 guys to state every year. Incredible team. So they had fallen off.
Just a team in the
little bit.
fucking middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere.
But
This
they
is
were
what they do.
corn-fed.
Yup.
They wrestled.
They were strong, they were good, they were smart. Like, they had all the intangibles. And the thing was, that year, we were on the come up, and they were really, really young. They had a lot of, like, freshmen and sophomores filling their lineup. So we had a chance at a lot of weights. And we knew, like, in my head, I was like, I watched my brother get smashed by these guys. And there was a dual meet against them. I think that was like 70 to nothing.
Oh yeah, they smacked us. That was like our sophomore and freshman year.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, this is our chance. Like, this is a huge duel for us. And I remember maybe like the end of the first period, or yeah, it was probably the break in between the first and second periods, and you're looking in the corner at the coaches like, Coach, I want to die.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was at that moment where one of our coaches looked at you and was like, he's more tired.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you see that light click and you were like, I got him.
And I was down maybe like 2 points. Mm-hmm. But there was some takedowns that went my way. There were some takedowns that went his way. Yep. So, but the thing is, like,
plus we're wrestling. This was an elementary school gym.
Yeah.
And it was
a tri-meet.
It was freezing.
Yeah.
It was like 40 degrees in the building. Hardwood floors. The mats are hard and cold. So every time you hit the ground,
and the school's not updated at all.
Oh no, this is a 1920s schoolhouse. Like, it's a joke.
So I remember, like, this guy that I wrestled was like, for those who don't know,
he was like top
Ohio wrestling. Yeah, top
really
4.
Good.
So for Ohio wrestling, the first tournament is sectionals. Top 4 from sectionals go to districts. Mm-hmm. Top 4 from districts go to states, and it's the top 8 placers at states.
Hold on, I just gotta ask because you just said something there. Do you call it states or state?
I call it states.
You call it states?
I do.
I used to, but now I joined the state crowd.
Interesting.
I'm in
That's the big debate on Instagram.
It's a big debate.
Yep. So, and then the comments are just fire. They just crack me up every time.
Dude, people say some shit over that.
I know, but
So, top 4 districts, you're like viewed as like you're one of the guys that's gonna go to states, whatever, and be like one of the top. It's 32 to a bracket or 16. You're one of the top 16 guys in the states.
Yep.
So it's like you got a guy who everyone's looking at as top 4 in the district that's going to go and be one of the top 16 wrestlers in the state.
Yep.
You're like, oh, fuck. But then when you start, like, a few takedowns go your way, a few takedowns go his way, it's a little bit more demoralizing to that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I can wrestle on his level.
Yeah.
I can
confidence
live up to that.
Yeah.
So by the time his body language was like, I remember he would like,
his hands were on his hips. He was huffing and puffing, and he was looking kind of down to the side. I was like, oh, I'm more conditioned. Mm-hmm. I had a few takedowns go my way earlier in the match.
You were just puking on the bus
literally
an hour before.
And
I remember before the match, too, my coach pumped me up with, like, a pep talk of, like, there's this guy that wrestled at Ohio State, Josh Demas, who was the shit, but he was a Central District guy, so, like, a lot of people in the Central District always, like, look at him, at least in the time we wrestled, as, like, he's one of the guys that you want to, like, be like.
He wrestled great at OSU. He had some huge wins.
He did.
He just got derailed by injuries.
Yeah. And he still made a national tournament, I'm pretty sure.
I think he made a couple. I think he was like a 2-time qualifier.
Which is insane with injury history.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember my coach giving me a pep talk like, hey, Josh Demas, before he won states, he was sick as a dog. Mm-hmm. And he's like, this could be you. This is your Josh Demas moment. And then I looked at the guy, and he was super tired. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And I won the match by, like, 4 points, I want to say.
It was a solid amount because you kind of poured it on at the end.
Yeah.
You had him. And then I think we pretty much, like, the back half of our lineup, we ran through them.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, I got a major, and then, of course, we had MMA professional fighter James Ford.
The man.
In there to clean up shop and bring it home for us. So that was a big win for us.
That was huge. That was a big confidence booster.
Because then who else did we wrestle that day? We wrestled...
I think it may have been Olentangy.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. I got a pin in that match. That was big. That was a good time.
Which, coming off that first one, was like, oh, damn, we can hang with these people.
I still remember how I pinned that kid, too. Okay, so you know the, like, you're in a collar tie, you grab your own arm, and you're going to do the little, like, suck by.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So that is a move that should just get you into the guy so that then you can take a shot, get a body lock.
You cut an angle.
It is not a takedown. Yeah, I cut an angle. I used a setup. It is not a takedown. I remember I did that so hard, though. This kid hadn't been, like, a freshman, was just at a weight class that was too big for him. And I did that, and he fell. He fell straight to his hip. And I was like, you're done.
Wait, Clay, can we get a quick commentary on a match I remember of yours?
Oh, of course.
Where we're at
I
a,
hope this is a good one.
another.
There are a lot of bad ones.
It was another middle of nowhere school.
Okay.
It was up north,
Okay.
and the kid you wrestled had some disciplinary issues.
Oh my goodness.
And,
this was my coming out party, and
yes.
no one knew about it because of how the match ended. Damn. Okay, yeah, we can break this.
Because the kid was actually like solid too.
He was like top 20 in the state.
Yeah.
He was really, really good. really good. Okay. And he was projected to go to state from the district. He was projected to do well. He was, I think he was Arch. I think he was a sophomore at the time.
Yes.
And the other thing.
Because all eyes were on him were like sophomore at a middleweight, you know, taking
I
out
was
some people that
wrestling-
were seniority over him.
That was at 145. That match.
Okay.
And so I didn't, because it was such a far drive. I
Did you
didn't think
cut
my
for
parents were coming.
145?
I only cut at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
I had a cut for about a month, and I never cut, like, I would never do the, like, yo-yo. I was, like, get to the weight and then maintain it. But so I came down a little bit slower, because I went into that season, I alphaed at 155.
Which, for those who don't know, alpha is the hydration test where they basically test if you're hydrated, and they also tell you how much weight you can, like, legitimate, like, healthily cut.
Yeah, so
During the
the
season.
goal of it is so that people don't die cutting weight.
Yeah.
Because that's happened several times. So I alphaed at 155. I alphaed higher than our 152 pounder that year,
Okay.
Danny. And
Oh man. Okay.
so I remember Coach was even like, dude, like, you put on some muscle. Because I wrestled 126 the year before. He was like, that was a big jump.
Yeah.
And in my head, I was kind of like, maybe I came in a little bit.
You were having fun at JV tournaments doing 126.
I was smashing.
Yeah.
Dude. Because I only wrestled half that year on varsity. And
Yeah.
I would just show up and just wreck house. It was great. And I had, that was a great time. And so I came down by about the time that the football team joined us once they were out of the playoffs, I was on weight. So I was pretty good with that. But for that match, I remember my parents said they weren't coming. They said it was too far away, it was too cold, too much snow and everything. And we were warming up, and then my dad walked in. And I was like, oh, snap, okay, Dad's here.
Nice.
He's here to watch me get pinned. Like, we're wrestling the best team in the district. I'm about to get smashed.
They were undoubtedly the best team in the district. They had that upper weight, Chris.
Yes.
And he was a stud.
Really nice guy.
Yeah.
Really nice guy.
Oh, dude, he was great.
Yeah.
He's kind of a goon.
He was part of our wrestling club for a little bit in the off season. Really wrestled in college. Solid guy. And I was warming up with our buddy whose name begins with T. And
Nice.
I was like, I'm about to get fucked up out here. Like, I had no... Here's the other thing, too. I was relaxed about it. And I think that ended up being the reason for success at the end of this match.
Okay.
So we're kind of joking around and everything. And the match starts, and the kid's moving around, puts his hands on him, like, get strong. Like, I don't know if that happened. But sure enough, he's moving around, so I'm slow. If any of you ever were to happen to watch me wrestle one day, or like any of my footage from high school, I was very slow. But when I hit stuff, I hit it efficiently.
Yes.
And part of being slow is when a guy level changes in front of me, I'm a full second behind.
Yeah.
Right? So he was down and up as I'm starting to come down, poked him right in the eye. Total accident.
Yeah, this is when it begins.
It was a total accident. And that was I was still at a point in my life where I was like, are you okay? Like, and like, it was kind of like, you go over there, you're good, I'm sorry, man, I didn't mean to. And so like, ref brings us back to the center, kid's like rubbing his eye, shakes my hand and everything. We're good. So, match restarts, boom, just clubs me right in the face. Ref stops, and he's like, we're not doing this, gives me a point. And I'm like, oh, I got this kid pissed.
Yeah.
Like, this kid is, we're like 15 seconds into the match, and this kid is furious.
And the thing is at wrestling meets, like, both teams, they sit in a row of chairs at the foot of the mat on both sides. And so I remember just, like, watching the match, and I'm like, oh, this guy's body language, he's, like, mad. Like, actually mad.
Yep. And so we start wrestling a little bit, but here's the thing. I know how mad he is, and this is an actual true story. I remember when we were kids and you and me were the same weight and we go to youth practices, I could get you pissed off, and then you wouldn't beat me, and I could sneak something by you. Like, it was a tactic. It would be like cross-face him super hard, and then he'll be pissed off, he'll charge at me, I can snap him down, go behind.
Yeah.
And I always remembered that, and in this match, I was like, think back to when you and Chuck wrestled as a kid. He's pissed off, you got this. And so he, like, charged in on a shot, snapped him down, got behind. I was winning, like, by 4 or 5 points at the end of the first, and he is, like, yelling at his coach on the side, like, in between periods.
And his coach is like, go back, wrestle.
He's like,
just keep wrestling.
Just keep wrestling. Their coach is amazing. He's won, like, Coach of the Year, like, 5 times. Like, their head coach at the time, who's now at a different school, he's won Ohio High School D1 Coach of the Year, like, 4 times. The guys who are now the head coach both have won, like,
he's at DC, right?
3 times. I thought he was at Berlin.
Oh,
the new one.
Okay.
But what was nuts about that, like, amazing coaches, right? And then on the other side, our coach, everyone's just like, stay calm, you got this.
Yep.
Like, we're all on the same wavelength. We're like, we're good. And my dad's in the stands just bark, because what ends up happening, there comes a point where we're on, like, the edge of the mat, and they call us out of bounds. The whistle blows, ref says out, and the guy then starts a double leg and tackles me to the gym floor. And my dad's in the stands, DQ, screaming. He's just screaming at him. And
The best thing about your dad at Wrestling Mates is his catchphrase for every referee is, be consistent.
Yeah.
Stay consistent.
It's not be right. Let me give you a window into my family. It's not be right or be wrong less. It's nothing like that. It's be consistent. And so that happens. And then they gave me, that was like his second penalty or something. So I got like 2 points. I'm up. I was beating him by a major decision when what ends up happening happens. And so then we go back to the middle, and he, like, pops me again in the face, and then, like, does it like 3 or 4 more times. And I'm just standing there like, you gonna call it? And the ref was like, I'm gonna call it.
Nice.
DQs him out of there. And here's the saddest part about it, is I was legitimately beating that kid.
Yeah.
I had taken him down like twice, and I was getting penalty points, but I was whooping him on the mat, and he was a really good wrestler. The newspaper result? Clay, winner by default. And no one knows about it unless you were there.
Yeah.
No one knows about it. But
And
it's a great story.
Kid gets kicked off the team too.
Well, he quit and then tried to come back, and the coaches were like, because I heard the whole thing about it, because our coaches, they were really good friends with those guys, the coaches for the other school, and they ended up telling me about that, and they were like, yeah, so the kid, like, it was a whole thing, and I was like, I won. To me, that was a win.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if they say winner by default. Like, no, I won that match, and it was a great time. That match gave me a lot of confidence.
Yeah, matches like that where you wrestle a guy who everyone looks at as a top-ranked wrestler. Because in Ohio wrestling, there's a big site where all these rankings come out. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of 50-year-old dads who hop on forums and whatnot and chat about who the best guys are and all that. And so to like beat a guy who everyone sees as like the poster child for like the year, you're like, oh, it's a confidence booster.
Huge confidence.
Chip on the shoulder kind of thing.
And that's why wrestling's so great, right? You have a kind of scared, shy kid who gets a little bit of success, and you're like, I think I can handle the world.
Yeah.
It teaches you special things.
And then they catch fire, and you're like, damn, that was like the match where he broke out at.
Yeah. It was a great time.
If you want to hear the full episode, subscribe to our Patreon today. Get early access to every episode, gain exclusive access to Chuck and myself, and tons of other perks. See you soon.